Have you ever been so scared that you felt out of your mind? You felt as though there was no way you would get out of the situation you were in without being hurt or worse? I have. Riding horses started out as a very scary adventure for me. As if riding a 1,200-pound animal isn't scary enough, riding a horse that is usually very calm but decides to go crazy at the end of your first ride is extremely terrifying. Riding horses is something I had always wanted to try, but I was always too scared. Scared of getting thrown off, scared of being trampled. It's normal to be afraid of an animal that big, isn't it? My boyfriend has horses of his own and rides quite frequently. One day I decided that scared or not, I was going to ride. So Dalton put me on a horse that his 8-year-old brother rides. The horse is usually a very calm horse. She's an all-around horse. You can pretty much do anything you want to with her. We decided that we would just take a short ride through some fields by his house since it was my first time riding and I was so nervous. That way I could get used to the horse could get used to me, and I could just get the feel of how everything went. We rode for maybe a half of an hour and decided that we would go ahead and head home. The ride had went exceptionally well so far. On the way home, we were going through Dalton's field that's behind his house, and the horses knew that they were close to home. Being close to home always excites a horse, and so our horses started running at full speed. I got so scared. I didn't know how to make my horse stop. I didn't know how to make my horse slow down. And Dalton was telling me, just go ahead, let the horse run the rest of the way home, and I would be okay. Well, I wasn't going to listen to that. I didn't want to ride a horse that I thought at the time was wild. So I just jumped off of her. Well, I probably shouldn't have done that because I could have gotten hurt even worse than if I would have just rode home, but I jumped off. Dalton stopped his horse, grabbed my horse, and brought her back to me and told me I had to get back on. No way was I going to do that. Well, at least I thought. Dalton got off of his horse, picked me up, and put me back on to my horse. Oh boy, was I mad. I did not want to ride that stupid thing home. By the time we got back to his house, I told him I was never riding horses again, that I hated them. I was so upset. After I calmed down, Dalton taught me a little bit about how to control the horse a little bit better, and I started to feel better actually knowing what I was doing. Now we go trail riding all the time. I still won't go riding around the house because of that first scare, but since the first scare I haven't had any bad luck with the horse. I've learned how to control her. I've learned how to slow her down, speed her up, do everything that I need to do. All in all, I panicked because I didn't know how to control the horse and she was running. I jumped off and I shouldn't have done that. Riding a horse for the very first time can be extremely scary, especially whenever you don't know what you're doing and you're close to home where the horses will race home at the end of the ride.